Hello, everybody, and welcome to the House Salt Book Club. This is our live show for December. We will be talking about Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey, but also just kind of like our year in review and all of the books that we read this year. So, hello, my name is Ladinez. My channel name is My Name is Ladinez, and I gave Window Shopping 2.5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, that feels right.
Hi, I'm Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, and I gave Window Shopping, I think three stars. I finished it a while ago and I'm forgetting it already, so should I put it down? I don't know, but like 3.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Connor. My channel is just Connor O'Brien, and I ended up giving this 3-ish, like a week 3 stars. I just finished it like, I don't know, an hour ago, and I already forgot their names.
I've also forgotten their names, so that's a great start. Hi, everybody. I'm Paige from Paige Felicia, and I gave this like 2 stars, honestly, yeah.
I'm Jordan from the Jordan Journals. I would say I give it maybe like a 3 star. Yeah, I'm 60 pages from the end still, but I feel confident it's going to be a 3 star.
All right, so we're all in the general like 2 to 3 star range. So not our strongest experience. Before we talk about this book, though, I want to know if you've read other Tessa Bailey books. Like, is this your first experience with a Tessa Bailey?
Yeah, this is my first Tessa Bailey, and it was hyped, beyond hyped. Everybody that I saw who had read it loved it, so it was not what I was expecting. It was a very interesting first read by her.
Okay.
Yeah, I've read Fix Her Up. Is that the one with the okay, I read that one.
With the clown?
Did not like it. That was, yes, the one with the clown.
Yes, with the clown.
I was very deceived by that cover. That's the beginning of when the cutesy cover started to like deceive me. So, and that was really hyped when I read that one. And I liked this one more than that one. So I don't know if it's because I had expectations that were different going in. I think I liked the character slightly more in this one than I liked in that one, but it still like wasn't, anything that blew me away or anything.
I read the entire Fix Her Up trilogy. I really enjoyed the first 2. I think I gave them both like 5 stars, but the third one I really did not care for at all.
Connor, you're on mute.
Muted.
We are 2 years into a pandemic and you're muting yourself.
I muted myself because the dog started barking. No, this was my first experience with her as well, and yeah, it was interesting.
I read It Happened One Summer because that one was super hyped on TikTok. That was my first one, and I liked that one better than this one.
Okay,
but it was
good.
also kind of like there were ups and downs. It was like a 3 star because there were like high points and low points, but there are like things about it that I really liked. So then I went back and read Fix Her Up, and I hated that so bad. It was like, and it was that was like, okay, maybe I just like it's not only Tessa Bailey. It's that maybe I don't jive with her books. And then this one, I was like, I gotta go. I gotta stop. So let's talk about window shopping. I don't even know where to start, honestly. But okay, so we were all kind of lukewarm about it. So why don't we start here? What didn't work for you about this book?
I feel like I didn't know anything about the like female lead, like besides the fact that she likes window dressing for some reason, like she likes setting up windows, and it just felt like very like this story didn't feel very strong. And normally I'm okay with that. Like if the lead couple is really like good and I'm really invested, I won't care about the fact that I'm not really invested in their like outside story. But because I wasn't really vibing with the Ted Lasso dupe that was the love interest, I was very much just like a reading to finish the book for the live show.
Yeah, it seemed like I didn't realize how short it was until I was checking the page count. And I was like, oh, this is like basically a novella. And I felt like she tried to tackle some serious topics for a novella. Like you definitely can. I don't know. You just didn't feel like she had enough time. So because of that, we didn't really know much about them. And also their behavior just would like switch kind of on a dime. Like he was like, I'm going to start sticking up to my family now. And you're like, okay. Like there was no time for those like arcs or anything to happen. So yeah, I felt like if she might have taken that stuff out and just had her not be a criminal, like have her maybe just be some random girl that he decided to have window dress, and just take that part out, then it might have been slightly stronger.
But it would have lost like the only interesting thing about her.
I mean, that was the conflict, I guess. But you could have still just had her like her dressed as a, you know, whatever, like an alt girl. And so everyone was still like a little bit nervous about her, but her not actually have a criminal history, and like not much would have changed actually. You know, you could have still just been like, we're snobby, blah blah blah, and it would have been the same thing.
Yeah.
I weirdly did not like that it took place in 2021.
That
was really bothering me.
the mentions of the pandemic.
Yeah, like pandemic, and then also like they're not like they mention the pandemic, but then they also like sweep it under the rug because they don't mention like any
a mention of a mask
in the store.
No,
the mask. But then like we want to get back to normal, so we're going to redefine normal. And I was like, I can't. I don't like it.
Yes, I feel like there are two types of people. You are either like distracted because there's media that doesn't like reference the pandemic, or you're the type of person that's like, no, I don't want it in my media. And I'm the type of person that's like, I don't want it. Don't talk to me about the pandemic in my fiction. So every time
not right, not when we're still in the pandemic. Like I don't want to read about it when I'm still living it.
Yeah.
And oh yes, and somebody said in the chat this was also the book with the TikTok name drop, and it was like,
oh yes, yeah,
because on TikTok, all the kids are
and like hearing about the marketing stuff, like all of the like, oh, like we're going viral, they're doing this trend. I'm like, they would not fucking do that for a window. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like it was unbelievable.
I did the same thing with like the Vivant challenge or whatever. I was like, no, that would not. Some random place that's only in New York. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
She likes to watch people open presents on TikTok or like surprise people on TikTok.
Yeah. I was like, that is not the part of TikTok I'm on. Unfair.
Yeah. It felt very 2021.
Yeah, it did.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So part of Tessa Bailey's shtick, I think, is one, dirty men, like men who dirty talk, dirty men who talk.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Men who dirty talk. And then also like quirky female characters, I guess, is like the best way. Like all of her characters are really weird. Like in Fixer Up, she was like a clown. And here it's like a ex-con window dresser. So like we were getting all this stuff about her dressing the windows, and I was like, I don't fucking care about what goes in that window. I could not care less, honestly. And so it was short, but also kind of painful for me because all of these details about the department store, I just kept thinking to myself, who asked for this? Who was like, you know, what I want to read about, a window dresser. I couldn't.
But like, it wasn't even sold on, it was sold on solely the Ted Lasso aspect, because that's what I knew about the book was everybody was like, if you think Ted Lasso is hot, read this book because this is what you were looking for. And I was not looking for that either. And I feel like that's why people who like him like the book, because it's like a fantasy fulfilling purpose for them that they wouldn't get elsewhere, because there's no Ted Lasso. Is there Ted Lasso fan fiction? I don't know. Maybe there is. But
I'm sure.
There probably is if this is that popular.
Maybe that's what this is.
I mean, it is like the version.
It's self-published.
I think the thing about the window dressing made it like, I know that was sort of the Christmas element, but I didn't feel like this was particularly Christmassy. Like, sure, there were some mentions here and there of Christmas, but like, I didn't, if you're going to describe the department store, like really describe to me the Christmas decorations and like how the city looks, and like have them go to like Christmassy things in New York. And they didn't do any of that. And I was like, this is a Christmas novella. Like, so really you can read it all year round, which I guess also makes it a little bit better for her that it's not just a Christmas story. But I just, for something that's leaning so heavily, especially in the cover, into like, it's Christmas, I'm like, it doesn't feel like it's Christmas.
It only mentions is because it's so busy. Yeah.
Right.
Like, and he's already looking at engagement rings, and I'm like, sir.
No.
It was too much.
Yes.
Yes.
It is too much. When he's like, hey, nice to meet you. Will you sign this love contract? I was like,
yes.
Right. Yep.
I was not prepared.
Right.
Yeah. I also, was I the only one who listened to the audiobook?
I didn't know there was an audiobook.
Yeah, I'm curious. I would love for Paige to listen to it because if there's a Ted Lasso connection, if the voice is at all like he spoke with like a southern accent or whatever, the narrator
from Tennessee or whatever.
Yes, but it just
that would have made it worse for me. That would have been 10 times worse.
Like grandpa. It felt to like it aged him in a way that I was like, all of this is unsexy, especially with like saying all of these things that
the dirty
makes her men say, but it was in like this papa voice, and I was like, ah!
Well, and they do also talk about their age difference quite a bit. Yeah. So like if he was voiced older, that would have made it even worse.
Not that much older. He's
7 years different.
He's like our age. Like,
he made it sound like she was 17.
She was 25. He was 32.
Like I think he's 32.
Yeah.
Yes, but they just kept talking about her like she was so much younger than 25.
Yeah, that was brought up a little bit.
She spent 4 years in jail, so those years don't count.
Yeah,
that's right.
Fake. Those are fake years.
Yeah,
fake years.
I don't know. I don't even know what else to say about this.
I mean, about him, I guess. Like, what are our thoughts? Because the bow tie thing was also a big factor, and I couldn't take this man seriously as like a real person. But also, I will say I don't like how Tessa Bailey does it, but I don't mind a like good boy in the streets, freak in the sheets kind of thing. Like you can do that correctly. So there are moments where I was like, do I like this? And I was like, he wears a bow tie with like, like Santa dinosaurs on it. Like walruses. Okay. Same thing. Like I don't think I can take this person seriously. But yeah, like that trope can be done well. Just I don't think that I necessarily dig it by her. And I did mention before we signed on that if Tessa Bailey is being self-published, why doesn't she just write actual BDSM? She wants to so bad. So obviously, she puts all this BDSM shit in all of her books and just won't go there. She put a collar on this girl, and why won't she just go and do it? But no, she has to be like, it's a necklace with a key on it.
Did any of her older books have it?
Yes, the Fixer Up stuff, the Fixer Up.
No, but like before she was like a mainstream author, did her older stuff have it?
I have no idea.
Because I wonder if because she's like a mainstream author now, they don't write it anymore.
I will. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna look.
Because that's like what happened with Christina Lauren. Is the more popular they've gotten, the like less,
like the more generic.
Graphic. They are like now fully cut to black. Like it's like
just crazy.
Wild.
And that's wild to me. Wild to me. You should read their Wild Season series, and it's just the difference is wild.
I will say I do appreciate when people have good relationships with like extended or like older family members. So I did like that he had a good relationship with.
Yeah, that was very cute.
Yes.
And
that was.
I have an.
Is that a Ted Lasso reference? Does he have like
the telling random stories, like rambling off on like a story tangent, was a Ted Lasso. See, like the problem is, I knew all of this. I was like comparing. It was sort of like Love Hypothesis. I didn't know that was about Adam Driver, so I fully enjoyed that and could picture someone else. Like I was not picturing him. And then I found out after, and I was like, "Good."
Describing Adam Driver, like I don't know how
you could. I ignored it.
Why the hell would I know? I read in Dark. Nobody had read this book yet.
Yep.
I was just like, a man named Adam. Why would I know?
I honestly thought when this book first opened and he was just standing in the street telling her this random story, I'm like, is this a dream sequence? Like, is this not really happening? Like, I thought that we were maybe like just like in a fantasy land or something. Mm-hmm. And it took me a while to catch on that was like actually what was happening.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it is such a weird, her characters are such, it's like a, I don't know, random assortment of things, and whether or not they will work for you is kind of a crapshoot. So will bow tie wearing
country bumpkin,
honey farmers.
It was so many things. When she mentioned the honey farming, I was like, what?
I missed the honey farming. I missed the
That's how he got his money in order to buy this expensive department store. I get 60% of the shares.
His aunt's husband, right, was a beekeeper.
I can't.
So they used to walk door to door selling their.
I do vaguely remember
Tank,
this.
honey tank, I think is what it was. It stood out to me.
So this particular assortment of random characteristics did not work for me. And I am also somebody who loves if he were more like himbo-y, maybe it would have worked better. I don't know.
Yes.
But in general, I was just like, you're not a real person. You are not a real man.
You are fake.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Not great.
You're not a real person.
Were there supporting characters in this?
There's the manager of the first floor. She was
Jordan.
cool.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Except then they mentioned, what was it? We need to teach you how to renegade. And I was like, we need to stop with all these references. That's what we need to do.
And then, there was like a side little romance between her and the janitor or whatever.
Seamus, yeah.
It gave me weird vibes.
Yes. He kept calling her my queen, and I was like, white boy, please stop. There's so many little things where I was like, I'm just uncomfy here.
Maybe uncomfortable because in the audiobook they gave him like a Hispanic accent and he was a janitor.
His name is Seamus. Isn't his name
Seamus?
Irish?
And he's a redhead. Like what?
Oh, he's a redhead?
Maybe I misunderstood what I was hearing on 3 screen.
Was it actually Scottish? Was it actually a Scottish?
He did have an accent. Maybe if I slowed it down, it was Irish.
Oh no.
Maybe he's just Irish Hispanic or something.
Right.
It wouldn't be the weirdest thing that Tessa Bailey could do.
Well, there was also her best friend, Nicole.
Yeah.
I forgot about
The
her.
prison.
Nicole was a
Which
non-factor.
That was so
Not
easily solved.
So fast.
Don't
I
talk
thought she
to
was
me
going
like
to be
that.
like a big problem. I thought she was going
Done.
to come back and cause drama, like come to the department store, like do something. Like
I was waiting.
That's what I was thinking too, but then I realized in 60 pages that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
yeah.
Based on
It's
where
like she should have been introduced sooner, and like the 2 missing earrings, it would have been funny. She came to visit. Funny, I say.
Yes.
It would have been interesting if she came to visit and stole the earrings, and then she got blamed for it.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping, even though like I knew logistically it wasn't going to happen. But I'm like, maybe it's Nicole and she did it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But that was resolved quickly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Everything was
Situation
resolved quickly.
But I was okay that this didn't have a third act breakup, and I'm kind of sick of third act breakups. So the fact that they didn't really do that, I was like, oh,
Kind
nice.
of
Like we
tried.
got to like
They
90%, and I was like,
He was like, I told her we might need space.
I mean, I guess not really. Was it long enough for 3 acts? It was just like 1 act.
I did the same thing, Jordan. I was like looking down because they had mentioned Nicole earlier, and I was like, she's still not here. And I had 20 minutes of audiobook left, and I was like, where the hell is Nicole?
She doesn't show up.
Yeah, and she just comes back, and the girl's like, don't treat me that way, and she's like, okay.
Uh-huh.
We're best friends still.
Uh-huh.
What?
I'm
Even though
gonna
I
let you
treated
live
you
in
like-
my apartment. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
There's so many things that were left.
Got you
like,
arrested, but yes,
yeah.
let's be best friends, please.
They were supposed to be fake guns. How did they get real guns? Why was that never addressed? Why aren't you mad about that? You almost killed someone. What is happening? Why are you living with her?
Did they say what restaurant it was that they were holding up?
Oh no,
I
I
was
don't think so.
picturing an Applebee's the whole time. I'm like, Applebee's.
What's
That's
funny?
kinda
If you guys watched True Blood, the diner from True Blood is what I pictured. Like just
okay.
some like podunk, like
Okay.
back alley place.
In my mind, it was only an Applebee's.
It was only ever.
Just the ease with which she told us too, like, oh, Nicole suggested we hold up a restaurant, and I said yes. I was like, what?
No questioning why. Like,
And like,
Sounded like a great plan.
her slippery slope was like, I graffitied something once, and then we robbed this restaurant.
I was a rebellious teenager, and then I went to jail.
Yes, I was like, what the hell is going on?
Right. And then the whole, even the end when like they're doing the epilogue and it's like a year later and it's been a year since she's seen her family still, I was like, damn, like seriously? Her family wouldn't have reached out before then and been like, are you good? Like, I don't know. I mean, I get that like there's some cut off things, but it just seems a little like, even that was a little bit sus.
especially after Nicole apparently called them. Like, you'd think they would reach out being like, yo, sis, by the way. She's
right, be like,
Well, she's also staying in her uncle's apartment.
yeah.
Right.
Does he not want it back?
But it was
That
also
was
weird.
another thing. Like, she just showed up, and apparently they haven't heard from her in a year, and she's super nervous, and they're just like, Come on
I
in.
love
What,
you.
what was
right.
weird is that the whole thing with what's his name, Aiden,
Aiden,
is that he's like not gonna push her too much because she needs to take baby steps, and then you find out he's been talking to her family the entire time and sending them pictures of all of her window displays. Like what?
So weird.
What is happening?
Ring shopping 2 weeks in, love
Yes.
contract day 1.
Yes.
It's a little intense.
And then they basically moved in after the 2 weeks because when Nicole comes back, she gives her the apartment and moves in with
Yes.
Aiden
Oh,
after 2 weeks.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. I've been downgrading this since we've been talking.
I know.
I was thinking like maybe not a 3-star. That seems too generous.
I was very surprised when y'all were saying 3. I was like, oh, okay.
I think just because
is anyone changing their answer?
Yeah, I'm
Sounds like I
going down
need
to
to
2. It's a solid 2.
It's a
I think
we have
2.5.
twos.
I feel good with 2.5.
Twos all around.
I'll drop it a half star for now.
Okay, Samadi a 2, 2.5 for Connor.
Yes.
And Paige, are you also still 2?
I'll still be 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jordan, are you a 2.5?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Do this math.
Chloe in the comments, I gave the book 2 out of 5 stars, 1 for the smut and 1 for the Christmas spirit.
Where was the spirit?
Oh my god.
Oh, I guess he decorates the office or whatever. But we don't even get to see that.
We don't.
Yeah,
they don't even really
like-
describe it that well. They just say it has Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, and that's the extent of the description.
Someone, Bernadette asked, why does she care so much about windows? Like window displays? What a random thing to have a passion for.
To be really into.
Because it's very specific.
In retrospect, she didn't talk about the windows that much, but in my memory, it's pages and pages of windows.
I was actually wanting to know because she got this job and she's not qualified for it. So what is she did one thing with the dress and then one thing with makeup.
Yeah.
Wasn't she supposed to be pumping out these windows? Aren't there 8 of them?
There wasn't enough time. She had 2 weeks. I know. You would have thought if you're at Macy's in downtown Chicago,
I'm picturing Macy's.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah.
Also, it's very suspicious that they're we need one of the windows by Christmas Eve. I'm like, you don't have who's gonna come in? I mean, if people are gonna be shopping on Christmas Eve, they're already coming. No one's gonna be pulled into the place from 1 window.
Yeah, no one's window shopping on Christmas Eve. You're in and
I gotta get something now.
Yeah.
People don't really window shop anymore.
Someone said it's quirky.
Also true.
They use the internet, as the grandma was so upset about.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
See, it would have made more sense if she was trying to do a digital marketing campaign versus
his
window
family was so. They were so mustache twirly.
Yes, they were.
It was very boring, especially because I just binged Succession. So I was like, "This is the poor man's."
I wish they had more power. There was no reason for them to even be there.
Threat.
Ever. They should have been able to remove her, and then he needs to gather the workforce to force them to. I don't know.
Form a union.
Well, I don't know.
A book about
something. There should have been something.
Yeah, the whole thing was did not make sense. Truly. I would love to know Tessa Bailey's timeline for this. Did she write this 2 weeks before she put it out? You know what I mean?
When did this even come out?
I mean, it references a bunch of 2021 stuff, so she had to have written it this year.
So I'm wondering if she wrote it before.
Because a lot of Christmas books come out in October for some reason.
Yeah, holidays usually come out. Yeah. When were you released, my friend?
So she wrote it in
Oh yeah, October 19th.
July,
so she was writing
August.
it in summer, and she's like, party during the holidays.
Yeah.
And then we're all like, the fuck? Makes sense. She didn't know. She couldn't have predicted how.
But you could have said it in an ambiguous time is the thing. You just did not have to put a time period on it. It would have been fine.
No.
She wanted to be optimistic.
Any other thoughts or feelings about this quirky book?
Should I read that other one that you're talking about, the summer one? Is it
worth
it?
So another thing about that I'm figuring out about maybe her more recent things. So the whole thing with It Happened One Summer is it's Schitt's Creek.
It's Schitt's Creek. It's the sister.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know nothing about Schitt's Creek, so maybe I'll be able to enjoy it.
A little bit Alexis.
It's Alexis.
That was me too. I didn't know anything about it, so it's fine. Just like I didn't know anything about Ted Lasso. So
I wonder if Fix Her Up then is based on anything
Are there any clowns?
Well, it's
That
based
we know
about it's
about?
based on a family that fixes up houses.
Airbud.
Like the family is
She fixed up that
Airbud?
house.
An Airbud?
Mhm.
Airbud
How do you
fanfic.
remember
yeah, it's about
that?
a family that owns
Clearly.
like a house restoration company.
I'm telling you, Airbud.
It
Get a dog.
was definitely Airbud.
I think if I gave Tessa Bailey one more shot, it will be one of like her early things, just to see like how it's changed.
Well, apparently one of her earlier series is about cops as the love interest, so maybe not.
No.
I think it's Chicago PD as well, from what I was looking at. And I
No,
was like,
no.
really?
And
I'm not
Lizzie
seeing
Borden-
any BDSM. I am seeing like there's tropes in some of these that are like possessiveness and like staking his claim, which might be a little
she just
BDSM, but
hasn't-
it's not.
She needs to just do it.
She needs
Can
to just
Tessa
do
Bailey
it.
write Succession fanfic? Because I feel like that's the direction she needs to head in. I feel like that is the area she needs to. Don't make it cutesy. Just go full on in. Those are the characters she needs. I
Yeah.
feel like she would thrive. Tessa Bailey, this is me telling you if you ever end up watching this.
If you're
Write
watching
Succession.
this,
If she makes it this far.
I know if she makes it through the
She'd be like,
first 20
"Screw
minutes.
these people."
Okay, I think that's it for
Yeah.
our window shopping discussion.
Does anyone want this book? I'll send it to you.
Nope. We're
I'm
good.
good. I'm going
Donate
to
it.
try and return my audiobook
Yeah.
and get my credit back.
They're like,
Send
"You
it back to the
listen
library."
this.
I was on a really long hold for this too from the library.
Wild.
I had to wait for like 13 people to read it.
And I'll read it in a day.
I tried.
So,
Called it.
all right. So
Oh, wait,
for
hold on. One
our-
more comment. The
Oh.
writing was so cringy. I think my breaking point was when I realized I stood there hypnotized by
Hypnotized
the
by the
booty.
booty.
Yes,
Yeah.
I put the book down when she said that. Actually, I had to stop and breathe for a second because that was just too much. Oh no. Yeah, I'm glad I lowered mine to it too.
Yeah.
I need to change it on Goodreads too. All right. So for the year, and also everyone that's watching in the comments, if you've been reading books along with us, feel free to post about your thoughts on some of these as well. Okay, we read 11 books. Which book do you think was our favorite overall?
Legendborn.
Yeah,
Legendborn.
I agree. Legendborn has to have been it.
Connor, do you agree with us?
I'm looking at what we read.
Okay, so
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
okay.
I feel
Let
like
me go
Lore
through- let
Olympus
me go
would
through all
be
the
a
books.
close second.
Okay,
No.
let me go through all the books. We read Legendborn by Tracy Dion, Lore by Alexander Bracken, House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, Scythe by Neil Schusterman, People We've Been on Vacation by Emily Henry, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, the Carl's Duology, which I counted as separate books, but we read both of the Carl's Duology books by Hank Green, Dune by Frank Herbert, Lore Olympus by Rachel Smith, and Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey.
I am now curious if maybe The House in the Cerulean Sea was our actual favorite because I feel like we rated that one pretty highly.
But I remember us with Legendborn being like, we're going to have such
This
a
was
good
so
reading
good.
year, y'all.
Good year.
Yes.
We were so optimistic.
Mhm.
We started the year on a high.
It was going to
We
be a
did.
good year overall.
On window shopping.
That seems like 2021, though. I
That
feel like
seems
that.
really appropriate, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But we,
All right,
Legendborn.
Legendborn was the top. We had an average star rating of 4.5 for all of us that read it.
wow,
Nice.
that's good.
Nice.
Yes. Yes. What do you think was our least favorite book of the year?
This one.
I think
Dude.
Lore.
Oh, I didn't even read Lore.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lore,
Connor.
Lore, Dune. I mean,
Oh,
Connor, for
true.
you,
I
this
didn't
one might have
count
been your
Dune,
least favorite.
though. Half of us didn't read it.
I was like, I
I
counted
didn't
your
read
guys'
Dune.
DNFs. I counted your guys' DNFs as 1
Okay.
star. Just for
Oh,
the sake
okay.
of
So
this.
then it was definitely Dune. Because
Okay, so Lore and Dune were the 2 votes. Lore was actually lower than Dune.
Damn.
I remember
So-
hating that book.
yeah.
Yeah, so we went
I did too.
from best to worst. January,
Right in a row.
February. So Lore got an average 1.6 from all of us.
Mhm.
Dune got
Yep.
1.8. So
I remember
it just
not
barely.
even finishing
Uh-huh.
Lore.
I
got
was
to, like, the
truly
last
struggling at the
section,
end.
Yep.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was like, not even
Lore will
interested.
be on like my least favorite of the year list, as will Dune. Like those
Uh-huh.
will definitely
Yeah.
be.
Meanwhile, I'm
Yeah.
gonna definitely read the second Lore book. Like I'm I'm invested now. I'm gonna keep reading.
Uh-huh.
the
There's a
doc.
second lore book?
Is there not? Is there not going to be?
I
Is
thought
it a
it was.
standalone? I don't remember.
I thought it
this.
was a
I think it was a
standalone.
standalone.
Oh, well, great. I
Yeah.
will not be reading anymore.
Yes, remember, because it ended so neatly. She was like, I
Oh, yeah.
wish. And then
Okay, true.
Uh-huh.
You make points. For some reason, I thought there must have been another book that we had read maybe last year.
The
The
Sarah
Set Fire
Rash.
to the Gods.
Yeah.
that
Oh my God.
one. Okay, that one I'm
Uh-huh.
continuing.
Probably already out.
It probably
Yeah,
is.
I agree
Yeah.
now. No one's heard about it. Katie in the comments did say maybe the holiday romances aren't the way to end of the year, and I think that you are correct, Katie.
I'd like to end
That
holidays.
we should not. Yeah, but we don't like. We never are thrilled. Like
True.
we waste a slot in the year with like these dumb holiday romances.
Fair
And we
point.
could be reading something like better.
We also,
But I don't read
because
in
by
December.
December, we're like tired and we
Yeah.
just want
Yes.
something easy. So we know it's not going to be the greatest thing ever, but it doesn't have to be the worst.
Right.
When shopping. Like,
Right. Right.
And I don't really read in December. I like don't ever have
Maybe
time.
we should do like a Christmas Carol or something next year. Like
Yeah,
I don't
I
know,
bet that.
something like
A classic.
or like a children's Christmas book. Like we can flip through it in the store. Like and that's
A
what
picture
we do to
book?
end it.
A
Yeah.
picture book. Yeah.
Like give them
What's
both
the
a
night
muffin.
before Christmas?
Yes. Like maybe
I
that's
really
what we
hate-
should do.
That's Dickens, right? I've read one book
Yes.
and I hated
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
Don't
you
make me.
a Christmas
Don't
Carol.
make me.
You have like 18 movies you could choose from. You can watch the Muppets Christmas Carol and be like, fine. Like, maybe we'll do that next year.
Let's not make any hasty decisions.
We'll see how 2022 us feel like. Like, hopefully, better reading here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should do this math real quick, but I'll do it in the end. Okay, so who do you think out of all of us gave the average lowest star ratings throughout the year? So the most lowest stars.
I thought about this.
Maddie.
And my inclination is to say myself, but if it's not me, it's
It's
Jordan.
Jordan.
Jordan. Yeah.
Because Jordan will
not
out of
Maddie,
nowhere
it's
be like,
Jordan.
hated it 1 star. And we're all like,
Oh,
So I also guessed before I actually did the math, and I predicted myself, and it was me.
Oh.
So it was me. I will tell you what everyone's averages were at the end. Who do you think gave the highest ratings? And this is again averaged out. Like I averaged out based on what people read, so that it's not like based on 11 books. It's based on however many that you read. So who do you think?
Probably
rated the
me.
highest?
I think maybe
I
me.
could see Kayla being higher.
But it's also like how
Kayla
many you
only read 3 books.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, fair enough.
is it
But,
Jordan?
okay.
Because if Jordan's
Is it
not
me?
getting 1 star,
No,
she's
I think
getting
it could be
5
me.
stars.
I'm pretty
Okay, so
generous.
Connor's guessing himself. We
We're
think
all
maybe
guessing
Jordan- Like, did everyone guess themselves? So I guessed that it was going to be Maddie. It wasn't. It was Connor.
Oh, good job.
It was Connor. So
But
You
I
had a
also
better
missed,
reading
like-
year than all is true.
But I also missed some of the real stinkers. So
you
did.
did. You cut yourself out of like Lore. You weren't there. Well, you only missed Lore and People with Me on Vacation. I went, I think, on your Goodreads to check the other one.
I missed the second book in the Carl series.
Well, somewhere you rated it 3 stars. So that's the rating it got. Because I either found you on the live show.
I rated the first
or-
one, but I'm still currently reading the second one on
Well,
Goodreads
you
because I
gave
lost
it
my.
3 somewhere because I
checking.
have your rating right here, and I went and I looked on your Goodreads. So,
Right now.
but do you think it'll be about a 3? Otherwise, these stats
I
are
probably won't
completely
finish.
inaccurate.
But yeah,
God, Connor.
Wow.
go ahead. We'll give it a
Well,
3.
either way, okay. So
We'll
I
give
was
it
a
a 3.
3.1 on average. Maddie was a 3.34 on average. Kayla with her 3 books was a 3.5. Good for her. Connor was a 3.7. Paige was a 3.5, and Jordan was a 3.5.
Okay.
That sounds
That's
right.
about right.
We're
For
all
all of
like
my
right
readings.
there in
We're
the,
all
like,
in between,
graph
yeah.
curve, so
Yeah. Yeah, I gave less 5s than some. Like a couple of you gave like a few 5s and like 4.5s.
Yeah, I love the House
And
of
I
Shrew
only
scene.
gave 5 to Legendborn.
Mm.
I was gonna do what our overall ranking was of like all the books if I average them out. So talk amongst yourselves about some other stat. I don't know. Yeah. So of all the books we read, what did you guys think was gonna be our favorite? Like before we read them, when we were kind of like guessing.
Mm.
You
Well,
know?
I was totally surprised by Legendborn because I had
I
no
knew it
idea
was
how
gonna.
it was
I
gonna
feel like because I have such like, I'm so excited for the second book. I felt like it was probably that one because I haven't been this excited about like a continuation in a series.
But before we
In a
read them,
Probably Malibu Rising.
I think Malibu Rising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that had the most.
And that's funny because that was a 3.3 average.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that one was kind of middling for me.
I actually really enjoyed that one.
I did. I
I
remember.
also
like,
thought
really
that
liking
Scythe had good.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the Scythe was a
visibility.
surprising. I was surprised by how much I like that
Just
one.
because it's such a booktube favorite.
I still need to finish that series.
I bought the other 2 books. Have I read them? No.
Mine's right there.
Yeah, I think I don't even know. I think maybe I thought House in the Cerulean Sea would be pretty high, and House in the Cerulean Sea was our second favorite.
Yeah.
So
That was before the drama came out. Though.
Yes.
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 That was
But then
before
like, and then that definitely colored like looking back on it now. I'm like, oh well, now I see like what
Yes.
people are. I'm like, oh.
yes.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna rank all of them, so Lore was the very bottom. Then Dune.
Sam is my favorite hater.
Thanks. And then it was Malibu Rising and Lore Olympus were tied for like next. But Lore Olympus was a lot lower than I think we would have thought because it was just that first part of the series, so it wasn't really like as good as the later parts in the series are. And then it was the first. Oh no, wait, I skipped window shopping completely. So Lore, Dune, window shopping, then Lore Olympus and Malibu Rising. Then we have a bunch of 4s. So we have the Carl's number 1, and then Carl's number 2, Scythe, People We've Been on Vacation, and House in the Cerulean Sea, and then Legendborn.
The fact that People We Meet on Vacation is so high on this list is like an affront to me personally.
It was a 4.1.
I liked that one.
And
Yeah.
Marty, you
I liked it too.
Marty, you
what?
gave it a 4. You gave it a 4. You
On
did.
the live-
Marty's like,
I
me?
listened to the live show.
Am I the drama?
Yeah, and I gave whatever you guys said in the live show. I gave the lowest score. So if you were like 4 or 4.5, I gave it a 4.
It's not a deep 3, but it's just like it's a solid rom-com. Like
I have
through and
since
through.
bumped that down to a 3-star.
Maddie, you gave it a 4. Paige gave it a 4. Jordan gave it a 5. I gave
I've
it a
since
4.
bumped it down to 3 stars. I think as we talked, like we kept talking about it, and by the end, I was like, "Wow, this was really bad." So I just did a video where I was talking about it, and I really was.
I feel like if Madi never talked about books and she just read them and was done, she would like them so much more.
Yes. That's what we're learning here. You can't think about books anymore, Maddie. That's why you're ruining it for
Even
yourself.
in my like reading blogs, when I start them, like I'll just be like, 4 stars, and then when I sit down to review them, I'm like, oh no, what was
You're like, it's 2. There is something about specifically romance books that like I'll be like, well, I'll enjoy it when I'm reading it. Just like I gave window shopping, like 3 originally, and I was like, it wasn't good though. Like it was just I could read it, which is not like a basis for like I could read it. Oh, great, read those things. So that's not like what we're gonna rate it on. So our average star rating for the year, if we're averaging out all the books and whatever, was a 3.35. So we're in the middle,
right.
but a little,
I feel like it was better than last year.
I don't know. I didn't
feel
do
like it has
stats
to
for
have-
last year.
It has to have been.
No,
Last year felt better to me.
Really?
But it was also the
That
first
was
year
just-
we did it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like 2020.
We read the selection.
No,
Yes.
exactly.
And-
It's like I think
and
there are
yes.
more highs and lows.
Yes,
Year
right.
on
the
year.
Hunger Games book last
The
year.
Hunger Games book was
Oh,
last year.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah, yikes.
That was not good.
Yikes.
No.
I think
But
it's pretty comparable. I feel like we're going to end up every year with this sort of like in the middle thing.
Yes.
I think this year feels worse because it was a very scattered year.
Yes.
Like and the fact that we read 11 books, granted, it
Mhm.
was the Carl's duology too, is wild to me because I thought we
I
read.
thought we read
5.
9.
Yeah.
Well, because we kept pushing the live shows back.
Yeah.
Like it was just.
It was a very messy year. And that's how I feel
Yeah.
about with my reading year in general. I keep
Mhm.
looking back on things and like, one, what did I read? And then when I
Yes.
look back, I'm like, I read that this year. Like it's such a messy reading year, and I
Yeah.
think it was
Legendborn seems like-
reflected here.
Legendborn seems like 2 years ago to me.
Yeah,
It
like
really
it feels
does.
like
Like,
it was
forever
so
ago.
long.
We were so happy.
We
in
were.
January. Like we were like this year's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. And then we're all like, oh god. Like if you watch the live show from like January, we were like hype. We were ready.
Yeah.
I'm
We
really
didn't know.
proud of us though that we like still stuck to it. I quit
Yeah.
so many things this year. Like I don't do
I've only read-
anything anymore.
I've only read 31 books this entire year. So
Same.
like
I've read around
Same.
9 of them
Connor,
are this
same.
book club.
9 of them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
this book club, and then I read all of the Grisha from my other book club. Like book clubs got me through reading this year. I would not have read otherwise.
See,
Yep.
committed to each other.
Yeah.
I would always be like, guys, where are you all? And you'd all be like, I'm reading the book today. Like,
Yes,
but you
I
would
did
get it
today.
read.
but we
and
read
that-
it, yeah.
You know, that's
God
important.
bless 3 Speed.
3 speed, man.
I stopped tracking on Goodreads at like 52 books or 54 books. So like in the middle of the year, I have read 100 books or more this year for sure. I just don't
Oh.
ask me what they were.
Well, you also had that over 30 books in 1 month
Yes.
video.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
was like-
happening? Did you?
I
do
haven't done that
Are you
barely in
gonna
the
do
whole
it?
year.
I read 30 books in October just because like I read a bunch of romance and like a bunch of books in a series. I'm trying to read it again, like 30 books this month. And I'm like at
Yeah.
12. It did not happen.
But it's close.
Yeah.
But when I saw that you were gonna do what's that big Sarah J. Maas book? I was like, girl,
Crescent
you're not
City,
getting that read this
something.
month with everything else. Yeah. But I was like, you go. I hope you do.
I started it early to like chip away at it. I just I'm bored.
Chip away at it.
I'm bored. I can't do it. So,
That's valid.
you know.
That's valid. Bethany also said that her book club, library book club, skips December since it's a busy month. So we'll see how we feel next year. We could always skip and just do one of these wrap up
A wrap
things
up. Yeah.
and chatty chat and whatever. You know, for us next year, if you're watching this, Sam, in the future, this is what we feel like we should do. So, like, all right.
They'll end up being something that we want to read.
Yeah.
I'm
There'll
sure
be
we'll
some
do
hype book
we'll
that
do
we're like,
another
let's read
dumb
this.
romance book.
There's
That's
gonna
what we're
be
do.
another Christmas romance that
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
talking about that we're gonna be like,
One
yep,
time
that's
on
the
Christmas.
one.
Yeah, just like
That's
that you're
fair.
not like eternal optimists. Like we're like everybody likes it. Let's try.
We'll like it
Uh-huh.
too.
Yeah.
Never have we ever. It's always a 3-star.
We're called House Salt for a reason.
It's valid. We are sticking to our brand tremendously. So we've already kind of talked about what we're reading for the first half of 2022. So we're not going to announce all of them in case we decide to switch some stuff up. But the first 3 months, we want to announce those. It's also in the description of this video. So if you look at that, it's already a spoiler. But what are the first 3 books, Maddie?
So in January, we're going to be reading These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, which I own and I have not read, and I am not actually looking forward to reading.
I hope I'll like it. I want to like it so bad.
I want to like it.
I want to
I
like
do
it
want to
too.
like it.
Who's it by?
Chloe Gong.
I have not.
It's
yeah.
not that I
don't know
don't
anything
want to
about
like
that
it.
book.
I want to like it too. I just am not
You just think that you
confident.
won't.
I don't know. What
I'm
it is.
nervous. I saw somebody tweet about it recently, and it was the first person I'd seen who hadn't liked it, and I was like, "Oh no!"
And so it
Here it
begins.
comes. Yeah.
Because we're getting to
Yeah.
that point
It's-
post-release where it's like starting to get more mixed reviews. It's not like just
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like it's past the hype now. Yeah.
And the duology's out now.
Yeah.
So I think people are also probably having opinions based on like how the whole thing is.
Fair.
I will be.
You know?
I mean, we're a house salt. It's the end of the year. It's fine. I will let you know that the primary reason that I'm not confident I will like this is because I've seen Chloe Gong and like at events and stuff. And we don't.
The
vibe.
vibes are off.
The vibes
We
are
don't
off.
vibe.
The vibes are off. And the
Bad
thing she
vibes?
says about like her own tastes and her own book, I'm like, ew. So I'm not confident that I will like this.
All right. February.
Oh God, we're gonna be reading Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, which I've already read. So I will be rereading with the book club. And is it
God.
just the first one that we're planning on reading?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're not gonna. If all of us want to then
Don't make
read
me
like 20
commit.
of them, we will. But
Has anybody else
There's
read
20 of them.
No,
There's like 12.
There's a
Jeez
shit ton.
Louise.
And they're spin-offs, so it's like the main
Yeah.
series, but then they have like neighboring.
And then you follow a
alien-
different barbarian and
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
Different
Wow.
alien.
The
Different
only
ice
reason I
planet.
know about it is because I remember when it was Y'all Fest or like a Booknet Fest or something, Lainey was talking about them.
Yeah.
Lainey was like, "You
I
need
have
to
been-
read this."
Yeah, that was like years ago.
Was the
Years.
Ice Planet hipster. And before everybody else, she was like,
Yeah.
saying, guys, no, guys.
Read this book.
As soon as I saw it on
Listen.
TikTok,
We were
I
like,
was
no.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this book of all books is the books that got like big on TikTok. I was
Who
so
would have known?
surprised. Yeah.
Who would have known?
Who would have known?
So
Nice.
yeah, here we are
Not
years
us.
later when I said not us. Not us. Like years later, be like that book that Lainey mentioned and that Jess said
Yeah.
was good. We're gonna read that.
Lainey
a lot.
really, I mean, Lainey likes it in like a binge sort of sense. Like
Yeah.
she just says they're good to binge. But Mara, books like Whoa, like swears by the series. And I
Yes.
trust her opinion a lot. I've read the first book and I didn't like it, but I've also heard people like this is one of those, you got to get past the first book series, which I hate
Uh-huh.
anyways, but I'm willing to give it a second chance.
Yes. Maybe you'll binge all of those in 2022
Yeah.
and that'll be like your
Maybe.
thing.
2022 prediction, Madi is the lowest reader.
I don't know. Well, so far for the
I
first half.
preemptively hated you.
No, but I think the third book we might like a lot. So the third one, so for March, it's Jade City by Fonda Lee.
City, Fonda.
And I have high hopes for that one. I have very high hopes. So if I'm gonna predict, I'm hoping for a 4-star for These Violent Delights. Who knows? I'm thinking I'll probably give Ice Planet like 2. And then I'm hoping for a 5 for Jade City. What are you guys predicting for your reading?
I think These
3-star.
Violent Delights is going to be my higher of all 3.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I don't mind Chloe's online presence as much as Maddie does.
I predict that I will have a hard time reading Jade City because it's big.
I
don't know
urge
what
everybody
Jade
to
City
look
is
at her
about.
TikTok.
I think Jade City
I avoid
is...
everyone on TikTok besides y'all because it's no.
That's valid. I think Jade City, and people that have read it in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels more like urban fantasy than like high epic, right? So it might be a little bit easier to digest in that way because it's like mafia families.
Oh,
Like it's like it's not like,
just straight
and
up
they have magic
fantasy.
abilities, but it's like it's I think it's more that from what I've heard. So.
Okay.
To be fair, I don't know anything about Jade City, so maybe after I read the synopsis, I might be able to like accurately.
I don't know anything really about it either.
I don't know
like,
either.
They use Jade to like for their abilities and people that control the Jade or sort of like the mafia families. Yeah, urban, modern, and very fast paced.
Okay, cool. I'm
I
probably
forget
gonna like it then because I was
I
cash
do
for
love
City.
a good urban fantasy. So I think it's
Right?
Yeah,
Jade
it's all
City, then
it's
These Violent Delights, then
I feel like yes, I feel like that's accurate.
Okay.
I
that's
have
what we're
heard that like
thinking.
the third book is almost impossible to find right now. People have been having a hard time
because
finding it.
people are like swooping it up. Like it's good. So overall, what vibes are we thinking for 2022? Just in our current state, how do we think our reading year is going to go? I know we know more of the books that we're planning on reading than other people do in the comments, but like based on what we've talked about, I don't know. Now that I look at the list, this could go either way. No, I think it could be good. I think it could be fine.
That is not convincing.
Yeah, that sounds a little optimistic.
There's a couple questionable ones on here that I'm like, I don't know about all that. That I want to like, but that I'm not sure. But I think we could have a good time.
I have discovered in the last 2 years that I know nothing about my reading tastes. Everything that I think I'm going to like, I don't like. So I can't predict anything.
You liked that Cassandra Clare book that we read 2 years ago.
Because it's good.
Yeah, the
did,
second
and,
one's
like,
pretty
but, I
good.
mean, like,
The
okay,
second
so
one's
I
okay.
like Cassandra Clare and I
Good.
like Sarah J. Maas. That's not exactly like
They're good.
My,
You know
it's
that.
good for what
That's
it
fine.
is.
thinking here.
Good for what it is.
Yeah, because Cassandra Clare books are fantasy romances.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Not
mostly
fantasy
romance,
books.
heavy on the romance, light
Yes,
on the
they're
fantasy.
fantasy romances, and it
Well,
does
same
what
with
it
Sarah
says.
J. Maas.
Also
It's
light
heavy
on
on
the
the romance.
romance.
It's light on
Nobody
everything
even
else.
freaking. There was like no romance there.
Oh, in the second book.
Book 2
They're
is
all
all heavy
pining for each
pining.
other.
I love it.
I just
I know,
Everybody.
because it's 700 pages of the first book, and then.
Uh-huh.
That's how I feel
Anyways,
about A Song of
Anyway.
Ice and Fire.
I feel like they're like predicting how this will go year over year is kind of hard because what really happens is that to find books that are kind of at the nexus of all of our tastes, we gravitate towards these like more popular things, right? The ones that we're like, okay, we've all heard of it. We're all
We all
interested.
kind of want to read it, yeah.
And then those are always crapshoots. Like you can never tell
I
if a
know.
super hyped and popular book is going to be worth it. So I think that's why we're always all over the place. Like if we were all in the same reading niches, we could get to like very specific things we think we would love, but we're not. So we're like, I don't know.
Well, and we also throw in a couple random like books like every time. That always like tanks like our ratings because we're always like, this would be funny to read together. And it's like we're gonna hate that. Like the selection, come on. Like the fact that we're like reading Ice Planet Barbarians, like I'm glad we are together. It's gonna be a fun group activity. However, I don't think we're gonna be like thrilled. Like,
Masterpiece.
yeah, right. The best thing I've ever read. But maybe, who knows? All right. Well, I think we should manifest a good reading year for the book club.
Oh, I would love a good reading year.
Me too.
And good reading year, on-time live shows.
Yes. During the month in which they're supposed to happen.
Yes.
Full participation.
Kayla.
Lainey said she was going to come for February.
Yeah,
Lainey
can't
will be a
wait
special guest.
for hopefully Ice Planet Barbarians as a
Lainey's
resident
a special
expert.
guest. Yes. in the smut. All right.
Awesome.
Cool. Any final thoughts on the year next year?
No, I think we are planning on keeping these live shows to Monday nights.
Mondays. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So going forward, like we always do, we'll announce it on social media, our social media. We're not really using the household social media. Maybe we'll try and get back on that, but we'll announce date and time after the end of the live show. But it will be Monday nights towards the end of the month. Fingers crossed for keeping those.
Yes.
On.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next month.
The new year. Bye.